have a question. What is your favorite song and how do you connect with it? Is it when you fell in love or through something really difficult? I'm your host, Tiffany Mason. Now join me as I interview others and we take a walk down memory lane with them. Let's get lost in why that music matters to them. Turn up your radio and let's explore Memories with a Beat. Hello, Podcast Land. Thank you for joining me for another episode of Memories with a Beat. And I have a special guest today, you guys. I have MC Cunningham from the group The Dreaded Laramie. And oddly enough, before we came on and started recording, we're trying to trace back this web to each other. And you guys, we still don't have the common link. So I was at the beach this summer and I was talking to my friend's aunt's guest at a grad beach celebration. And this lady was telling me about this amazing band out of Nashville and the Dreaded Laramie. They're so great. And her child, or maybe somebody she knows, was a part of it. And so MC and I are trying to like connect the dots, and we still don't know, but we were connected nonetheless. And I'm super excited because I just love people who love music as much as me. So MC, welcome so much to Memories with a Beat. If you wouldn't mind, tell the audience a little bit about yourself, where you are, what you're doing, and all that kind of stuff.
Great. Yeah, Tiffany, thank you so much for having me. Even though we can't figure out exactly how we know each other, it's such a pleasure to be here.
Aw, good.
Yeah, so I'm based in Nashville, like you said. I'm actually a lecturer in the philosophy department at Belmont University. That's my day job.
Oh, snap. Okay.
Yeah, and then, but my passion is also philosophy. But in addition to the philosophy, I'm in this band, the Dreaded Laramie, and it's really fun.
Yeah. Well, I was watching a couple of videos, of course, in preparation just for chatting and, common things to speak about. And you saying it's really fun. I was watching the Tell Me video, and that is super cute, you guys. If you don't know of the Bearded Laramie and you want to check it out, they have a really great video for one of their newer songs called Tell Me. And this guy is like on a racetrack and he's throwing bananas in this lady's way. And there were some other funny things throughout the video that they're not coming to my mind right now, but I just remember being like, oh my gosh, I love that they have such a great sense of humor. So I believe that you guys are having fun doing that.
Oh, thank you for the kind words. Yeah, that music video was so much fun to film and is really representative of our band's sense of humor. We obviously take seriously what we're doing as musicians and songwriters, but having fun and having a sense of humor is a huge part of that for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'm curious if you can tell me, so you guys have a lot of fun. You clearly have some, good chemistry between each other. How did you guys meet, or how did you guys even form and become a band?
So I not only teach at Belmont now, I actually attended Belmont as an undergraduate.
Okay.
And Belmont is where I met Zach and Drew, the guitar player and bass player for the band. Mm-hmm. Belmont I think Zach is the only one of us who actually studied music at Belmont, but it's kind of known as a music school, among other things.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he studied commercial guitar there. Their music business program is, I think, particularly the well-known program in town, or across the country. But None of us studied music business. Zach studied commercial guitar. Drew and I both studied philosophy, but he also studied audio engineering in addition to philosophy. Overachiever. And the three of us met through totally non-musical means. We just happened to kind of have mutual friends that brought us all together, and we were friends and doing our own kind of separate musical things for a few years. It wasn't until my last year at Belmont, and I'm the youngest, so Zach and Drew had already graduated at this point, that the band started. And Zach and I were the founding members. We originally had a different bass player and drummer, but the bass player had to leave the band totally amicably after a couple of years. And then we got Drew involved, and it was like, oh my gosh, this is a perfect fit. Why haven't we been doing this all along? And then Andrew, our drummer, actually just a couple years ago moved up to Nashville from Gainesville, Florida.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was total serendipity. He got a job at the same warehouse as Zach. And we had been looking for a permanent drummer. We hadn't had a permanent drummer for a couple years, had just been kind of cycling through people. But Zach met Andrew. We all learned what a great drummer he was, played with him. Our personalities, got right along. And it's just been a dream come true for the last 2 years, having this new permanent lineup.
Wow, that's so awesome. Gosh, I know that there's a lot of work that goes into it too, but it just seems like such a fun lifestyle or such a fun thing to do. But it's like everything else. The highlight reels on social media make it look, just so fun, and the music videos and all that stuff. But then there's a lot of work and promotion that goes behind that. So I appreciate that too.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
a lot of work that goes into making the highlight reels look like we're having a good
Right?
time.
Somebody the other day on social media posted their family pictures, and then they posted what the shots that were taken between the ones that you saw and how upset
Amazing.
one of their kids were, and so yeah, it's very, very true that social media is so misleading. And what genre would you say your band is?
We call ourselves power pop,
Yeah.
which feels kind of like the child of both rock and pop. Like
Yeah.
we have those big, like classic rock inspired guitars, very
Yeah.
overdriven, very like Thin Lizzy with the dual leads and things like that. But everything about the vocals and lyrics is very pop,
Yeah.
like very hooky and catchy. And like, of course, my voice is a lot more pop than like than rock. So
Yeah.
yeah, power pop is what we go with usually.
Yeah, okay. That I know I'd read that. I just didn't know, how you guys see yourselves, or, how you wanted to explain it. So that reminded me of when we were listening to it. It kind of like loosely reminded me of a little Avril Lavigne and a little Florence and the Machine, like the feeling, or like, Avril kind of has like that sweet aggressive voice, and so in some of yours I feel like it's the same way. And Florence and the Machine has kind of like that folk art sound to her voice, but not your guys' instrumental. So like what you're being backed up with is totally different, but her voice in general. So that was kind of just my take on it. So if anybody likes any of that stuff we talked about, you would probably like their music as well. There's 4 people in the band, and MC, you have lead vocals, right? The guys back you up sometimes?
Yeah, I am lead vocals. They are increasingly singing
Hmm.
background vocals. We're about to record our first full length record, and there will be all kinds of background vocals from the guys all over that thing.
That's exciting. So do they feel like brothers to you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, they are 100% chosen family in addition to
Yeah.
my family by blood. So they're, amazing coworkers and friends, and just the way our lives are all really intertwined now because of all this
Yeah.
stuff has, forged a really, really special bond.
Yeah, so cool. So you said you have an album coming out, but you guys also recently released some music this summer, right? Was that a full album, or just a couple of songs, or what did you guys release this summer?
Right, yeah, we released an EP this summer, so it's just 3 songs, longer than a single, but certainly not a full album. 3-song EP called Everything a Girl Could Ask.
Everything a Girl Could Ask. Okay, so you guys heard it here first. You were looking for Everything a Girl Could Ask. Now, what is the fall that's being released? Do you guys have a title for that album yet?
Oh, so we're actually just going to be recording it coming up here. It probably won't be
Oh,
released until next summer. This stuff takes so long. It's so frustrating sometimes. But we don't have a name yet for the full length record. So if you have any ideas,
okay. Okay.
or if any listeners have ideas, we are certainly taking them.
I was thinking that was very ambitious. I'm like, dang, they released music this summer and then they're going to release again this fall. I was like, wow. So that makes more sense. Thank you. Well, that brings us to any kind of music. So, what song did you choose for the podcast, and what are we going to dive into?
I have chosen the song "You Gave Your Love to Me Softly" by Weezer, which is a B-side from their second album, Pinkerton.
You can go right into, why you chose this song, how you connect with it, why it's special to you, MC.
Great, yeah. So Weezer is a really special band to me because it was the first thing that Zach, my bandmate, the other guitar player in the band, it was the first band we really bonded over and kind of marks the beginning of our friendship and the beginning of this band for me. So they're, one of
Sure.
my all-time favorite bands. And, it's not just this friendship bond that it represents. We sound a lot like Weezer, or we're compared to them often, and it's no accident. It's because he and I love them a lot. So it felt right that this was going to be a Weezer song. And this is one of my very favorite ones. It's one that captures, it's like about 2 minutes long, super short, and really just captures everything that I think is great about Weezer's songwriting and a lot of my values for songwriting in general. So it just is a totally stellar track. I have no idea how it didn't make the original cut for the record. But it, has some sentimental value, has value to me as just a measuring stick for any kind of song I write. So it means a lot to me.
Yeah, so a lot of your influence for songwriting comes from their style of music as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah. I wish you guys could see the passion on her face when she was trying to explain it, because it's funny, like when you're trying to explain something, but you feel so much emotion about it, it's hard to find the words that correctly explain that. So it was kind of fun watching your face like search for the correct words. So, anyways, I like seeing the passion. When you say that it has everything that you kind of like, it sets the bar for the kind of music and it has the characteristics, what are those characteristics? What are you hearing?
So you've already kind of said some things that sum it up well, like in a way that I hadn't quite thought of before, but I think really hits the mark. When you described like Avril Lavigne's style as kind of sweet and aggressive, I think that like figuring out that balance and trying to push both of those things as much as I can in the music is what I strive to do when I'm songwriting, especially like making the tone of my voice really kind of sweet, but the message kind of sharp and aggressive. And then like on the contrary, making the tone of the guitars in the band really heavy and overdriven and aggressive, but then the actual parts that they're playing being really like sweet and almost nursery rhyme like.
Yeah.
So when I sit down and write a melody, often what I'll do is give myself the prompt or the challenge of trying to write something that sounds like it could be a nursery rhyme.
Okay.
And then taking that and making it into a rock song. And I think the melody in You Gave Your Love to Me Softly, this Weezer song, does that like so perfectly well. Like if the line wasn't you gave your love to me softly, I feel like that, could be any kind of like song for children.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that,
Well, and I love that you're using that overdriven guitar. Because that's really, I mean, you're just laying into it, but you're right. It's you gave your love to me softly, like just sweet, but then there's that aggressiveness in the background. I love that.
the contrast, it's just so fun.
It's like sweet and spicy, right? Or sweet and salty together.
Totally.
Yeah. Very palatable. Got a podcast? Are you loving it, but not loving how much time post-production takes? Or maybe you just have other tasks calling your name a little bit louder. Virtually You can help. Check out virtuallyouva.com, supporting you in all things podcasting, like editing, show notes, audiograms, and much more. See the link in the show notes. They're waiting to give you back your time. And on that note, let's get back to the show. Okay, and then you said it also is sentimental. So what are the sentimental characters that go? Is there a story? Is there a love? Is there a one night stand?
I am not a one night stand kind of person, so it's not sentimental to me for any kind of literal reason.
Sure.
More for the like friendship that the stuff represents. I mean, but a lot of this record that we're writing right now is about breakups. I recently, I say recently, now it's been like a year and a half, got out of a 6-year long relationship, which was, I'm 26, so it was most of my adult life.
Yeah.
And so heartbreak and loss and grief is something that I have been thinking and writing about a lot. And it feels like the song hits close to home because of that. It's such a like it's like a whole, the emotion of a Greek tragedy, but in a 2-minute rock track.
Yeah. Well, the song that I interviewed before this one was Colleen Orender with Patsy Cline's song Sweet Dreams. And so she keeps saying, why can't I think of you awful? But instead I keep having these sweet dreams. And isn't that how love is? Like, you remember all these good times, but then you're like, I hate you, go away. But remember that time when we went to the adventure park and we were riding rides and you held my hair as I puked? Like you have all these like beautiful memories, but then you're also like, and I hate you. And I feel like that's kind of like how the music is, right? Like, you gave your love to me softly, like sweet, right? But the music is like, and I hate you.
Yeah, right, exactly. Oh, so well put.
So you and Zach, where did you guys meet and how did you guys start discussing Weezer?
Yeah, so we met because my orientation leader at Belmont and I like got along particularly well. There's like a welcome week at Belmont where all the freshmen get,
Mm-hmm.
we have like a sophomore or something who shows us around for the week. And that person who was older, who was the orientation leader, his name was Tucker, and we like got along, pretty well. And I told him a couple of stories that at the end of the story, he would go, wow, the kind of person you're showing yourself to me to be reminds me a lot of one of my friends, Zach. I think you guys need to meet. I think you would really get along.
Yeah.
So my orientation leader introduced me to Zach, and he was right. We do have a ton in common. We are best friends. And yeah, like from my first semester in college, started forming a friendship with him. And funny story, we would have met even if Tucker hadn't introduced us because we were in the same survey of the music business class and sat 2 seats away from each other
Oh.
in the same row before we ever met. So it was fate. It was going to happen somehow.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we met.
The universe had it in for you guys.
Yeah, I like to think so. So we met there, and then just as our friendship kind of expanded, music was a big part of both of our lives. And Weezer is one of his favorite bands, and he asked, what do you think of this band? And I said, I haven't really given them the time of day. I know like Island in the Sun and Beverly Hills, but that's about it.
Yeah.
And as winter break approached, he said, okay, over winter break, give this album, their first album, the Blue Album, a chance. See what you think. So I went home, listened to that, and was just like, oh my gosh, my whole life has changed. This is my new favorite thing. And I came back and we started, it was just a matter of time from that point until our mutual love of Weezer would lead to this band.
So how did you guys have the conversation? You're exploring Weezer and you start to sing along and Zach's like, wow, you've got a great voice. Or you guys are hanging out and Zach's like, let me play you a couple chords. And you're like, wow, you're really great with that guitar. I mean, like, how does the conversation lead to, oh my gosh, dude, we should start a band?
Yeah, I was really intimidated by Zach musically. I mean, I still am, but was really intimidated by him for a while because I knew from the time we met, he was a commercial guitar major. He was, studying this thing. He was going to have a career in it either way. And so I kind of privately wrote songs, for a while, but didn't reveal that until like a couple of years into our friendship. Was like, hey, sometimes I do this and write songs, and then got up the courage to show him at some point, once I felt safe enough with him. And luckily he really liked them. And so I said like, oh my gosh, it would be a dream to be in a band with you. You are such a creative and artistic and talented person.
Yeah.
And like somehow by some stroke of luck, he felt a similar way about the kind of stuff that I write.
Yeah, wow. So it was not based on your voice. It was based on the lyrics that you had written for these songs.
Yeah, the lyrics or maybe like the melodies.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm curious what he would say about that. I mean, certainly not my voice. It has improved a ton since when I was showing him those songs. So
Yeah, yeah. And what have you done to improve the voice?
part of it is just use and getting comfortable being in front of people, but also I have it back in 2021. I started like officially taking voice lessons, which
Okay.
isn't something I had done before then, and always thought like, I mean, this is just something I can work on my own. It'll be fine. But oh my gosh, the difference has been night and day. So between having
Yeah.
voice lessons, we've been on tour a lot more, so just being in crowds and getting comfortable in front of a microphone, getting more practice have all led to kind of making strides with my vocal performance.
Right. Well, and probably improving your confidence, which then gives you more confidence, which, grows exponentially from there. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then your bandmates going, wow, that was a great set. And then you're like, yeah, it was okay. It was good. So just having their support probably means the world as well. You said that you use this song, You Gave Your Love to Me Softly, to kind of like rules or what, not this song, I suppose, Weezer music in general, right? And you said that you actually like that it's a short to the point song. So do you guys keep your songs in a shorter format as well? Or do you linger on some of the choruses, or, how does that go for you guys? Or is that a common belief within the group even?
We definitely value concision as a group,
Okay.
which I guess doesn't necessarily mean it has to be short. Like, I think a 4-minute long song can be concise in that it just communicates a
Yeah.
lot of new information or something like that, and
Mm-hmm.
doesn't kind of dwell for too long on one idea or another. Not that that's a bad thing, just not the kind of music we make.
Yep.
So yeah, I think the longest song we have is like 3.5 minutes or something. We
Mm-hmm.
are like, keep it relatively short, and that 3.5 minutes sounds kind of long to me. Uh, but yeah, I think we try and model that in our stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you guys collaboratively write, or is it mostly you bring a song to the group, or is it like you have a song 3/4 of the way done, and then you say, okay, guys, let's finish this together?
This has been different over the years, and we have really in the last 6 months kind of developed a more steady pattern of how we do
Mm-hmm.
songwriting. And how it has been lately is I will write the kind of skeleton of the song. So just get some chords and like a vocal melody and a first draft of lyrics or
Yep.
something. I'll do that. Or I write a lot with my friend Adam, who's not in the band, but did produce the new EP that came out in the spring and our first EP.
Okay.
He's produced everything that we've released so far. He and I do a lot of writing together. So we might get together, put some
Okay.
chords and a vocal melody and some lyrics together, and then bring that to the band and go, okay, let's flesh this out, add meat to the bones. So
Yeah.
we do that, over the course of a few like 3-hour sessions or something. And then in that process, arrangements will get revised, new parts will get written, and the whole flavor of the song can totally change. Sometimes I'll even change lyrics, change the melody to fit the stuff. So I bring the like,
Yeah.
the kind of seeds of it,
It's like a
but
starting
it really
point.
is a very
Yeah.
collaborative thing that we all have ownership of.
Yeah. That's so cool. Okay. So I would imagine because it's a short song, you know all the words to the song.
Oh yeah.
So, what is the way that you feel when you're like, man, that's it. I'm turning it on. You gave your love to me softly. And what happens? Are you mad, happy? Are you celebrating something? Are you at the gym? When does this song come into MC's world?
I love that question. Mad happy usually.
Okay.
It's not going to be like a light happiness, and it
Yeah.
won't be pure anger either. Usually a kind of like, this crazy thing happened and I can't believe it, and I'm so like, laughing and angry at the same time. Ah! That's often the context. It gets played in the car often, like, loud. Oh, I can't believe I
Yes.
haven't mentioned this. A whole like tradition that Zach and I have is listening to Weezer in the
Oh.
car together on drives and like blasting it and singing along. So that's certainly a context where it comes on. Or it also might come on in the context of a one-person dance party in my bedroom. Um, yeah, like air punching and kicking and stuff.
On the bed with air
Oh
guitar?
yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, okay. We're punching and kicking. Okay. It's a full workout.
Yeah, absolutely. Mentally and physically.
Where do you guys drive to? So you said on a drive. And how is it that it's you and Zach, or is it like you and the band, but you and Zach are like the culprits of like this session of like, here we go?
So back in college, he and I used to just, this is before the band,
Yeah.
used to just get in the car and just drive around Nashville just for the sake of, we both lived like on campus in dorms and stuff. So you can't like really like late at night be cranking music. So, the car was a place where music could be cranked, and we're just kind of driving around downtown Nashville screaming some Weezer.
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. I had a girlfriend that came to visit me when we lived up north in the up by the Adirondack Mountains, and she was like, "You want to just sing the music?" And I was like, "Yeah." So we did the same thing. We just put the music on, you blare it. There's no audience, there's no nothing. It's just like you and that other person totally consumed in this music, and it's such an amazing feeling, and the energy, so good.
So much fun, such an underrated activity.
I completely agree. Well, is there anything else that you would want to add about this song?
Hmm. Yeah, I think one thing that we haven't touched on yet that I really like about the lyrics, especially, is the
Mm-hmm.
way that it captures such big feelings in such
Mm.
small, kind of mundane imagery. Like from the very first verse, the line, "Still your Bijan lingers on and on and on." Yeah, just like the way that the smell of a specific perfume can bring to mind like so much about a person and a past relationship and a
Oh, yeah.
history. Uh, I think that, is one thing that song accomplishes really well.
Yeah, no, I would completely agree with that. Such simple words that give these really big, or maybe it is so much is left to the imagination that our imaginations are just that great that they pack a punch. They fill in all these spaces that the band has left for us to fill in, with our own personal experiences. Well, I really appreciate your time. I know you don't have the name of your title coming out yet, or the title of your album that you guys are going to be working on this fall coming out yet, but I will try to update show notes. I know I'm going to interview another bandmate, and so maybe, as the time progresses, maybe that will evolve and we'll have some information on that. But in the meantime, you guys can go get everything the girl could ask. And what platforms would they find that on, MC?
Anywhere you listen to music, Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, Amazon Music, Deezer, wherever you listen, we're there.
Okay, so they don't make it difficult for you. It's easy to find. This song, of course, You Gave Your Love to Me Softly, is going to be on the playlist, you guys, for Memories with a Beat, the playlist. And it's going to be on Apple, Spotify, and YouTube. If you guys are more of wanting to watch a video, maybe come across funny videos like their song, Tell Me. Very funny video if you want to check that out. Is there anything else you want to add that you guys have coming up? Any special appearances, anything like that?
Yeah, the last thing that I guess I'll mention is for this full length record that we're making, our very first one, uh, we are really excited to be making it with like a dream producer.
Mm.
With this guy, his name's Dave Schiffman. He's worked with Adele and Tom Petty and
Oh,
Vampire Weekend and
wow.
Weezer, a lot of our favorite acts. And to make the record the way he wants to make it, we have to spend a lot of money.
Yeah. Mhm.
So we have a Kickstarter campaign that's going to be
Oh,
active at the time of the airing of this podcast. I think I've sent you the link to it or to what the URL will be when it's active.
yeah.
So I guess if people like what they're hearing and are interested in hearing a full length record come to fruition, if you want to donate to the Kickstarter, that would be your prerogative, and there's no pressure to do that, of course. But that is a way to support the band if people are interested.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Great. Yes, I think that people do want to know how they can support other people. And I think that there are people out there that want to donate and they don't know how. So I think that's great. You're getting the Kickstarter information out there for someone who says, you know what, I love music. I want to support music. You guys, I will have it in the show notes. Bet your bottom dollar. Bet your bottom dollar. And I just want to make sure that everybody can support you guys just as much as possible. I love getting the information out for you guys. I will be donating for sure. And just so thankful for your time and looking forward to meeting some of your bandmates. Podcast land, I hope that you have enjoyed this song and have enjoyed MC's memories and thoughts to this beat. Well, that was fun, wasn't it? You never know what rabbit holes we'll get to go down and explore. Were you reminded of anything? Or anyone? Share what it was with me in a review. Honestly, the reviews don't do me any favors other than knowing people like you are listening to this podcast. Insert cheesy wink. However, the ratings do help, so leave me 5 stars. You know you wanna. This podcast was produced by Virtual You, supporting you in all things podcasting. To connect or check me out on social media, I know you're just gonna stalk me. But see the show notes, as always, for details. Can't wait to dive into my next guest's memories with a beat. Hit subscribe now. You don't want to miss the next episode.